Hello, this is Dr. Mears, and today we are going to be learning about arithmetic sequences. Arithmetic sequence. Each term after the first is found by adding or subtracting a common number, known as the common difference. To find the common difference, what we do is we take the next term and subtract the previous. This means next, and we subtract the previous. Okay? Perfect. The general term, equation to find any term. So the n is the term number. So here it's also the term number. U sub 1 is the first term. And d is the common difference. And then U sub n, that's the actual term in the sequence. Okay, now that we have it labeled, let's go see how we use the common difference and the general term. Example 1, for each arithmetic progression, write down the value of d and the term indicated. Part A. We have 14, 11, 8, and we need to find U sub 12. So let's label a couple things. 14 is U sub 1, 11 is U sub 2, 8 is U sub 3, and if we kept going, we have to find U sub 12. So we have the first one, first term, second term, third term. First, we need to find the common difference. The common difference is found by taking the next term. We can take U sub 2, 11, and subtracting the previous term, 14. Could we have done 8 and 11? Yes. I just used the second one and the first one. It would work on either one. When we subtract those, 11 minus 14 is going to give us negative 3. Once we have negative 3, we're going to be able to find our general term. And that's going to help us find U sub 12. So let's substitute our numbers in. We have U sub 1. I'm just going to write down the general term. Okay, so we're finding U sub 12. U sub 12 equals, we have U sub 1, that's 14, plus n is our term number. Our term number is going to be 12. So these two numbers should always match up, minus 1, times our common difference of negative 3. And be careful, because I put this in parentheses, because this isn't just a minus 3. It's 12 minus 1 times negative 3. And when you do this whole entire thing in the calculator, you're going to get negative 19. Now, could I have just kept going and subtract 3 until I got to the 12th term? Yes. So if I kept going, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, the 12th term will be negative 19. That's just the longer way of doing it, and plus it's a little bit easier to make a mistake. If we kept subtracting 3 every time, I wouldn't mark you wrong, but you know, a nice little formula does get you there faster and it's a little bit more accurate. All right, let's look at part B. If you want to try part B and pause the video, you can. Just be careful of your negatives and then you can come back, or you can do it with me now. Okay. Let's label U sub 1, U sub 2, U sub 3. They want us to find U sub 21. Let's first find the common difference. I'm going to subtract negative 5 minus negative 7. Be careful, because this is going to be the next term, which is negative 5, minus, and this is a negative 7. So it's minus a negative. And when we do that, we're going to come out with 2, which means that we're adding 2 every time. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. Now, we have to go all the way to the 21st term. You could keep adding 2 until you get to the 21st term. That's absolutely fine. However, I'm going to use our general term. So we want to find the 21st term. Our U sub 1 is negative 7 plus n is 21. Again, these should match up. Minus 1 times 2. I still kept it in parentheses to let you know I'm multiplying. Once you do this whole entire side in the calculator, we're going to get the 21st term as 33. So if you kept subtracting 2 every time, term 21 is going to be 33. Okay. Let's move on. Example 2. Given an arithmetic sequence in which u sub 1 equals 14 and the common difference is -3, find the value of n such that u sub n equals 2. So we want to know what value, which place can we find the number 2. So you could do this a couple different ways. We know u sub 1 is 14, okay? We have a common difference of -3, so it would be -3. So I'll be going down to 11. And then that would be u sub 2. And then we would -3. That would give us u sub 3, which would be 8. And we can keep going, and we're going to find u sub n. So what place is 2 in? If we kept going, which term number is 2 in our sequence? So you could do that. That's just the longer way of doing it. I'm going to use our formula, our general term. U sub n equals u sub 1 plus n minus 1 times a common difference. All right, they give us some information here. They give us u sub n. So we can take out u sub n and substitute 2 in. That's what that means. That means take out u sub n and substitute 2. What else do they give us? They give us u sub 1, okay? So let's take out u sub 1. That's out. We're going to replace it with 14. Plus, do we have n? Nope. That's what we're looking for, -1. And do we have our common difference? Yes. We're going to take out our common difference, and in its place, put -3. Okay. Now our problem turns to being able to solve for n. And it looks like this would probably be the easier way to go, just because we're getting so close to 2. So, eventually we're going to get to 2. So subtracting 3 every time would be fine here. But if you have a number that's even further away, it would take you more time. So that's why I'm going to show you how to solve. All right, first, let's get rid of this 14. We're going to subtract 14. It is being linked to the variable here by addition. It's a positive. So in order to undo that positive, we have to subtract. 12 minus 14 is going to give us 12. 2 minus 14 is going to give us -12. That equals n minus 1 times -3. Now you can do this one of two ways. I'm going to show you two different ways of solving this. The first way I'm going to use is just simple division. So I'm just going to rewrite this down here. -12 equals n minus 1 times -3. So in order to solve this, I know that these two are linked by multiplication, so what I could do is I could divide both sides by -3. That gets us away from the variable of n, which I want to solve for. So now I have n minus 1 equals +4, okay? Now that I have n minus 1, I can add 1 to both sides, and I'm going to get n equals 4 plus 1, which is 5. So that means that this really is the fifth term. So if we kept going, the fifth term is going to be 2. We really were. -3 is going to be 5. -3 is going to be 2. So if we kept going, which we should have just kept going, the fifth term is 2. But we solved for it instead. Okay, we solved using division. There is another way. A lot of people like this way better. It's a little bit longer. So we can solve this using substitution. So we could take -3 times n, -3 times -1. What does that give us? -3 times n is -3, n. -3 times +1 is +3. And now it turns into a two-step solve problem. Subtract 3 from both sides. -15 equals -3n. Divide by -3. Out. N equals 5. Same answer, different ways to solve it. So we set up the equation, and then we solve for n. You do not have to do both of these. You may pick one, or you can even just keep subtracting 3. However, it may get tedious if we have to go to the 15th. If it was the 15th term, we'd have to keep subtracting 3. I think this is shorter and more accurate, so choose a way to solve, and then you would be good. Okay, let's go on to our last two examples. Example number 3, and then example 4. Example 3. Find the number of terms in the following finite arithmetic sequence. -8, -4, 0, 36. All right, so it's a finite sequence because it stops. It's finite. It doesn't go on forever. If it went on forever, it would be infinite, but it stops. We know that this is u sub 1, u sub 2, u sub 3. We have no idea what term number 36 is. So we don't know what this n value is. We have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea. But we need to find it. So once we find the term number for 36, once we find where it stops, we know how many numbers we have in total. So we have to find n. That's what they're asking for us to do here. Find n. Okay. I'm going to use our formula. First, what I'm going to do is find our common difference. So I am going to do -4 minus -8. Remember, it's that next term minus its previous. So our common difference is 4. I'm going to write my equation. U sub n equals u sub 1 plus n minus 1 times our common difference. We have things to solve. We can substitute some terms here. Our u sub n, we know, is 36. 36 equals u sub 1 is -8 plus, we don't know what our term number is, and our common difference is 4. Now, could you keep subtracting 4 until you get all the way to 36, just like we did in example 1? Yes, you could just keep doing this and then see how many we have, and that's going to be the number of terms in our sequence. I'm going to use the formula, the general term, because I think it's more accurate and it's not going to have us make as many mistakes if we kept subtracting 4. All right, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. I'm going to come out with 44 equals n minus 1 times 4. I'm going to use the division way. If you want to use distribution, you can, but I'm just going to divide both sides by 4. I find it quicker, less steps. So now I have n minus 1, add 1 to both sides. My lights might go out. There we go. They were dimming, so cross that out, and 12 equals n. So that means that this term is u sub 12. So the 12th term is 36, which means I have 12 terms in the sequence. Yay. Okay. And our last example for this video, 2 terms in an arithmetic sequence are u sub 6 equals 4, u sub 11 equals 34. We have to find u sub 15. So we're not giving the first term or the second term. We're given the 6th and the 11th. So that means we don't have this, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we have this, u sub 6 is 4, 7, we don't have 8, we don't have the 9th, we don't have the 10th. We have the 11th, 34. We don't have the 12th, we don't have the 13th, we don't have the 14th. We need the 15th. So we're missing some numbers here. So we can't rely on our process here because we don't have the next term and we don't have a common difference. So what we have to do is we have to understand how far u sub 6 is away from u sub 11. So how many times would we have to do the common difference to get from 4 to 34? We would have to do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would have to use the common difference 5 times to get from 4 to 34. Use the common difference 5 times to get, running out of room here, here we go, to get from 4 to 34. Now, you could have just subtracted 11 minus 6. That's just 11 minus 6. You could do that. You do not have to write all this out, but I wanted to show you where I'm getting the 5 from. Okay, so knowing that, what we can do is set up an equation. We can say, okay, we can take u sub 6, which is 4, we can add the common difference 5 times. So here's our common difference. So this is 5 times our common difference will get us from 4 to 34. We just found that out here. And that's going to get us to u sub 11. So knowing how far u sub 6 is from u sub 11, that will help us to set up this equation. Knowing that, let's substitute some numbers in. We have u sub 6, that's 4. We have u sub 11, that's 34. So what we really needed was this 5, and it just came from knowing how many spots 4 and 34 were away from each other. Now let's solve. -4, -4, 5d equals 30, divide by 5. Oh, we got a common difference. So if we added, here's our common difference. If we added 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 and plus 6, we're going to get to 34. So we can use that common difference, and if you want to just keep adding 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, you're going to get to u sub 15. So, because we have our common difference. So you could just keep adding 6. Go for it. You're going to get to your answer. Or we can say, okay, we want u sub 15. So we're going to take u sub 11 and add the common difference how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. Add the common difference 4 times. So then we can get u sub 15. We're going to take 34 and we're going to add 6 4 times. That's what this means. And u sub 15 is going to come out to be 58. So this right here is 58. Are there other ways to do this? Of course. I'm just showing you the most accurate to be able to get the answer and not make as many mistakes. And this is one way to do it. There's plenty other ways of doing it, but here's a little shortcut. So that is really working with arithmetic sequences, finding common difference, finding terms, and number of terms in a sequence. Hope it helped.